Namaste and welcome to Nigla Group presents the TYSON Talk Show Season 7 co-powered by NISOL, media partners MPL News Live, News5 Arunachal West News, beauty partners G3 Style Station, Amos Unisex Salon, hospitality partners Hotel Todo, Hotel Pips. Today we are joined by a distinguished army veteran and a dedicated public servant. He is the current Chief Information Commissioner of Arunachal Pradesh and also a role model for leadership, integrity and service. So we are honored to have none other than the remarkable JARKEN GAMLIN sir. Hello sir, welcome to the TYSON Talk Show.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a great pleasure being here.
Thank you so
and
much
of course,
for coming,
it's
sir.
a greater pleasure to be interviewed by a beautiful young lady.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure of mine to interview you today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
All
so,
right.
how are you feeling, sir?
Feeling good, like the weather, but of course, with the kind of situation that the country, the nation is going through, it does play on your mind. I, as an ex-soldier, old soldier, as a veteran, I'm constantly trying to find out what's happening.
Yes.
So after the Pahalgam incident, what is happening today, it had to happen.
Yeah.
One way I'm very happy that it's happening, the way it is happening.
Yes, correct.
I think our measured response as a nation is praiseworthy, and I think this is the best approach we could have thought of. So to that extent, I think I would like to compliment our armed forces and also our political leadership for the way they have handled the situation so far.
Yes, they've handled it.
We should be
really
proud of them.
Yeah, we are proud to be an Indian.
Yeah.
woman. Okay, so sir, now starting, can you just give a brief introduction about yourself, maybe your childhood days, your schooling?
All right. See, in the 60s, Arunachal was quite backward. There were very few schools to write home about. I belong to Alo town. Fortunately, I was born in a town, and that was probably because my father was a PI, political interpreter.
Okay.
So I grew up in Alo. Fortunately for me, by the time I was 6 years old, the Ramakrishna Mission School had just started in Alo. So I was probably born at the right time when you talk of it. And so I joined Ramakrishna Mission School, which later turned out to be the best school we could think of in Arunachal. So our basic foundation of education, I think we're lucky we got it there in Ramakrishna Mission. This school was then run by the Swamijis, and most of the teachers who were there were mostly the semi-volunteers. People were very dedicated to the profession of teaching. And so the kind of education we got, when we think back today, we're very lucky that we got that kind of education in a place like Alo, and that also in the 60s.
Yeah.
So I think that basic foundation is what saw us throughout our life. When I talk about my later part of my life, one would actually keep thinking back about Ramakrishna Mission School and think that thank God I studied there. So when I joined in 1966, there were no buses, so we had to walk from home to the school and back. So from my home to Ramakrishna Mission School was just about 3 kilometers. So every day we used to walk 3 kilometers. Fortunately, I had my elder brother. My elder brother was late GAMLIN, the ex-chief minister. Both of us used to walk together, come back together. And it was a daily affair. 69, I also joined the hostel. 73 was the year my Swamiji, the late Swami Kirtidananda, he was that time the Secretary Swamiji of this Ramakrishna Mission School, or you could call him the principal then. Now, he used to teach us English, and he felt that, I was good at writing. So he asked me, he said, son, there is an exam for entry to Rashtriya Indian Military College, which is in Dehradun. If you want, I can fill up your form. I had no knowledge about RIMC. So I asked him, Swamiji, where is the exam? Kahan hoga? So he said, Shillong. So I was very thrilled. I said, I had never been out of Alo. So I thought this was an opportunity to travel. So I agreed. See, I will not say that I was not interested in the army. 71, if you remember, when the 1971 war happened, the entire, army from the northeast got mobilized towards Bangladesh. And that was the time, Alo mein, there is a brigade, 5 Mountain Brigade. Now it is called 5 Infantry Brigade. So that brigade got mobilized for war in Bangladesh. And we had the privilege or the honor of seeing them off as children from our football ground. We gave them a cup of tea and wished them all the best. So we as children were very thrilled, and we talked about war, and then we kept track of what happened in Bangladesh. So that, I think, kind of infused that spirit of soldiering in most of us. And I was lucky that my Swamiji asked me to sit for this exam. I went to Shillong. But here I would like to mention, which is interesting, because I always talk about destiny, because I had no idea about the syllabus. I had never faced an interview in my life, and no one even briefed me as to how I should be facing my interview. But I was thrilled to go. I went to Shillong. I sat for the exam. The written exams, there are 4 papers. It got over. I found them very easy. I had the interview. I found it also very easy. Now, when I think back, I think that probably I was destined to be a Fauji, because without knowing the syllabus, I found the question papers easy. And it is not as if people had not tried earlier. Many of my seniors had tried. They couldn't get through. And I didn't realize that it's a very tough exam, because from all the states of the country, students try to gain entry into RIMC. But only 25 cadets are selected per term. There is a semester system, which means 50 cadets a year. Which means you have to be in those first 25 to be selected.
Okay.
And for me, not having known the syllabus, not having faced an interview ever before, but getting through, I think that was part of my destiny.
Yeah.
And I always talk about this, because when I got back to school, my Swamiji asked me, "Beta, kaisa hua?" मैंने कहा बहुत बढ़िया हो गया. तो हो जाएगा, बोलता आराम से हो जाएगा. Look at my confidence without knowing. He said, "नहीं नहीं beta, but this is an all India competition." And I was saying, but I have written so well. How can I not get selected? That was my confidence. Fortunately, they did call me up. I joined RIMC in 1974. So this is, I'll say shortly about my childhood. We had our share of fun and games. We were very fond of swimming in the river there in Sipu River. Sipu River today is very small. Our time it was much bigger. And that used to be our pastime during the holidays, Sundays. So most of us in the colony, my area, we were all swimmers. And this helped me, because when I joined RIMC, all my 5 years I was the best swimmer. Okay, so people used to wonder कि ये पहाड़ी लड़का को swimming कहाँ से आ गया? And little knowing that we have a river, there are 2 rivers, and we're lucky that as children we learned to swim, we learned to dive. I was also the diving champion. And this besides the academics. So when I passed out from RIMC in 1979, after 5 years, I was the best all-round cadet. We have the President's Gold Medal was awarded to me for being the best all-round cadet, because I performed academically also very well. I got through the UPSC, I got into ND, of course, And even 3 years in NDA, my 3 years went very well because I passed out very high in merit. I also was the best sports person of my course. I was the best in outdoors, basically physical this thing. And then I joined IMA, Indian Military Academy, Dehradun, after 3 years in NDA. Here you do specialization, like NDA is for all the 3 forces, Air Force, Navy and the Army. And from there, after 3 years, we all separate out. The Air Force cadets, they go to Hyderabad. The Naval cadets, they go to Cochin. And the Army cadets go to Dehradun.
Okay.
So I had come to Dehradun for my last year of training. This is the specialized training. Even there, I think I did fairly well. Again, I got the award for the best sports person in Western Outdoors. And I got commissioned into the 8th Gurkha Rifles.
Yeah.
To be specific, the 2nd 8th Gurkha Rifles, 2nd Battalion of the 8th Gurkha Rifles in 1983. And our days, we used to have the rank of 2nd Lieutenant. Basically, you have 1 star, you know,
Yeah.
which wasn't even visible to people because we used to have black stars. So we started there, and 2nd lieutenant to captain to major. Now, unlike in the other services, our armed forces, after the rank of major, our time, we used to have promotion board, which means to become a lieutenant colonel, you had to be in the merit, because our number of lieutenant colonels in the army is fixed. And so hypothetically, if I have to explain to you, let's say if there are 100 vacancies, but you are 300 cadets who passed out with you, only 100 will become, the other 200 remains as a major.
Okay.
So it is not because they are bad, it is because you have only 100 vacancies. So you had to be in the first 100 to be promoted. And as you go higher in the rank, the competition becomes tougher because the vacancies keep reducing. So I'll say I'm lucky, and I'm grateful to the organization where I think there is a great deal of fairness in the assessment, because of which I think I could rise to the rank of a major general, because the percentage of officers who make it to the rank of major general is about 3%. And even to become a full colonel, it's just about 52%. Rest 48% remains as a lieutenant colonel. Then to become a brigadier, you have just about 20 to 25% becoming a brigadier. Rest remain as colonels. And to become a major general is just about.
Do you think, sir, the competition for the post is like tougher now or earlier?
See, competition will always be the same, because it is same for the entire team, no? The batch. So
what do you think are the younger generation, were they tougher earlier or now?
See, today there is more awareness because of the social media, the internet, this thing. I think in terms of knowledge, in terms of awareness, the present generation officers are much smarter. They are way ahead of time, you know. If you think back, I think we had a very cocoon kind of a life. Later in life I used to say that we're like frog in a well, you know. You look outside the world and this is my world. This is my universe.
We had another guest just now, and even she said the same thing. Earlier she was like a frog in the well.
Okay. So it was like that. Our world was very limited. We had a very protected life because we had no interaction with the civilian counterparts. And we grew up in that kind of environment. And life in the force, you know, there's so much of isolation. As a young officer, I served in J&K. I served in, let's say, Northeast. I served in rest of the country also. In fact, मैं मजाक से भी लोगों को बोलता हूँ, when you say ना कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक और गुजरात से अरुणाचल तक, which I have actually literally done it myself. And I have served in Kerala, I have served in Mysore, I have served in Bangalore, I have served in Pune, I have served in Gujarat, I have served in Rajasthan, I have served in Punjab, I have served in Madhya Pradesh, I have served in Assam, I have served in Arunachal, I have served in J&K, Kashmir. But overall, most of my tenures I spent in Kashmir and the Northeast.
Okay, so sir, among all of the states that you have been to, which state would you say is the most memorable, or you had some good memories there?
See, there are two ways of looking at it. If you are saying as a professional soldier, I would say that my most memorable period was Kashmir, because it was very challenging.
Yeah, I heard that temperature goes
Yeah,
away.
it is not only about temperature. Like let's say I stayed in the high altitude. As a young officer, you are just about 25 years old, you are on a high altitude post. You are sitting in a bunker. You have your 80 odd Jawans with you, who are also, you know, splintered all around in bunkers. And you are there for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months in isolation with no interaction with the outside world. During the winters, you are buried almost under 25 feet of snow. One would have to climb out from the bunker, you know, cut steps and climb out because so much of snow would have gathered in the night. And
I also heard that the food that you eat is not as good as people think it is.
Initially, see what happens is when you have such heavy snowfall, there can be no movement because there are chances of avalanche. So one had to be very careful about movement of troops during this period. And because there were no roadheads available, it had to be on mules or through the porters, the local porters. They would carry your ration up to the post. So if there is a delay there, you have to resort to eating the tinned items. And these tinned items, for a change is okay, but for a regular diet, certainly not desirable.
I heard that they used to vomit in the candle.
Yeah. And because of, you know, because everything would have frozen, you had to make do with the snow to make your water, you know, to get your water. So that kind of life you have gone through, but I think it is during such period of life that you get to bond with your troops. You become friends. You remain their leader. You remain their military leader, but you grew up together. So there is so much of bonding. And that is why when you go through an operation means a fight, like this operation is going on, no? Operation Sindoor is going on. Similarly, we have had so many during our lifetime as a young officer, as you grew, you know. So that is the time your comrades in arms, this is the time you are actually fighting for each other. And you realize that, you know, I'll tell you, every time we had an encounter, reaction is, you know, you try and run. And you suddenly realize that some of my Jawans have overtaken me and they're running ahead of me because they think that hamare officer ko goli lag jayega. So this is the kind of comradeship you have. He says our leader should not get hurt. So they are ready to face the bullet for you. So they run ahead of you so that you are safe to guide them.
So sir, you are the leader. So you have to lead, you have to make sure that you're safe, that's the second thing, but then your Jawans also need to be safe. The mission have to be successful. So you are the one leading. So how difficult is it?
See, our Indian Army is known for its junior leadership. And today, if in the world, the Indian Army is considered one of the best, at par with the Israeli Army, I'll put it that way. It is because I think our junior leadership has always been very, very effective. And it is always from the front. Junior leadership is about let us go. It's never you go. It is let us go and you lead. And they follow you. So with that kind of leadership, no army can fail. You remember Kargil War, 1999? What happened? Despite the difficulty of the terrain, despite the enemy actually sitting on those hilltops, mountain tops, people still launched operation, knowing that this operation is absolutely suicidal. But our young officers led from the front. इसमें देखो, fact is no one wants to die. Let me be very honest. No one wants to die. But वो इज्जत का सवाल है. You are the leader, so you have to lead. So when the bullets come, सबसे पहले गोली आप ही को लगना है. And it happened that in 1999 Kargil War, we lost about 67 officers, I think, if I remember the figure correctly. And the ratio of officer to men casualty was 1:7 or something like that. 1:7, if I again remember the figure correctly. And this is very, very low because for every 7 soldiers, 1 officer has died. Whereas if you looked at the World War II and World War I statistics, for every 27 soldiers, 1 officer died. So you look at the ratio where 27 soldiers and 1 officer died. Here, for every 7 soldiers, 1 officer died. So that is the kind of leadership that we showed during this Kargil War. And it is not only about Kargil War. In any of these anti-militancy operations, it is always the officers who lead from the front. I myself have been doing it, had done it, I mean, and as a young officer, when you were there in Manipur or when you were there in Assam or in JNK. And the success of the Indian Army is because of our junior leadership. I'm not saying that the senior leadership is not good, but the cutting edge, because after all, execution is what matters most, and execution is done by the junior leadership. Planning is done by the senior leadership. Leadership is given by the senior leadership, but when it comes to leading the men, it is the junior leadership. So we should be proud of our country, our Indian Army or the Indian Armed Forces, for the kind of junior leadership that they have shown, at least till now. And I'm sure it will continue, because that's the kind of legacy we have.
So I think 2001 was the year I was born, and that was the year. That was the year when you led the Army's first task force. And I have read about it in very brief. So I want to maybe know.
Okay. So I'll explain to you about this task force. Till 2000, when this after Kargil, the Indo-Pak relationship worsened, and it nearly went to a war. And that was the time the entire armed forces got mobilized, and that entire exercise was called Parakram. During that period, the country had no nuclear policy, and it came to a situation where one felt that probably there could be a nuclear war. So fortunately, we had already acquired our nuclear weapon, but we had never mobilized a nuclear weapon. So this was the first time that the country decided to assemble the nuclear weapon. That was our Prithvi missiles. And but then they wanted a team to handle it. So that is where the requirement of this special task force came up. And I had the fortune of being selected to raise this task force. And I did. It was somewhere in the south. And during that period, since I had no precedence of moving a nuclear warhead, I had to work out my own SOP, standard operational procedure. And by trial and error, I was making those SOPs for future officers, future teams. And fortunately, I had no accidents. I had no, because otherwise, when I think back again, I had no nuclear suit available to us. So we were actually handling nuclear weapons without proper safety measures. We had to move them by truck, by train, by helicopter, by IL-76 aircraft, land them, take them out, unload them, get them underground, all those things. So all this happened without any guidelines. So one had to work out the guidelines. Of course, I had the other scientists and the engineers and other elements who guided me, who kind of helped me do all this, accomplish my task without any accident. So this was a big moment for me, because at that point in time I never realized the magnitude of the work that we are doing, because we had moved nuclear warheads which are armed without safety gears, which was very dangerous.
Yeah, even hearing it sounds very scary.
So I think and that those special task forces later got augmented by other task forces, and today they are still doing the same job, but in a better organized manner.
Okay, so were you never injured during those tasks or those?
No, not during this period. One was very careful.
Any other period where you were ever injured badly, or luckily you weren't?
See, those minor injuries you do sustain. I had a bullet injury in one of the district in Kashmir. Injury. That's okay. That's part of soldiering.
Yeah.
So, and because it was a flesh wound, I never went to the hospital also.
Oh, wow. So even for us, even if we get a tiny cut, we'll be running to the pharmacy. Can you give us a?
So a lot of people asked me. I said, "No, TT injection ले लिया, और dressing मैं खुद कर रहा हूँ." So it healed. It healed on its own.
But I think the armies, they also taught about some few easy medical treatment. How do you?
Yeah. Those basically first aid procedures that you learn as you get trained.
So have you ever witnessed some unfortunate situation where maybe unfortunately your junior was killed or your senior?
See, I'll tell you. In one operation, I was a major then. This is in Kashmir, on the outskirts of Srinagar. We're operating. We had information about 2 militants in a village. So we moved in at the night, and we kind of cordoned the village. Village was not very big, but what happened was early in the morning, before it dawned, the militants probably got an inkling of our presence. So they're trying to escape. But by then our troops were in position, so in the darkness they saw some movement, so they challenged, because we have to be very careful. You can't just start firing. We don't want to end up killing civilians, innocent civilians. So usko jab challenge kiya, so that guy opened fire, and they ran. The two of them, when they ran, our people opened fire. Naturally, they had already opened fire. So what happened was, one militant ran back into the village, the other one ran out of the village. And I was actually on the outskirts of the village, because that time I was the second in command of the unit. With my quick reaction team, I was waiting outside to see how the operation develops. And when this happened, it so happened that the militant which escaped ran towards my direction, our direction. So on the radio they said कि यहाँ से भाग गया है. It's all in Gurkhali. And so what happened was, he ran into a small hamlet, part of the village. A small 5-7 houses were there. He ran into that part. So in the darkness we could see somebody running, but we're not very sure if he's a militant, because his weapon was not visible. So we could not open fire just like it. No? So he ran into a village. We followed and we carried out a search. We could not find the militant. So then we got the villagers together. We're trying to find out ki kahan chala gaya. And they're not telling us. Then one of my Jawan who was with me, a Havaldar, he said ki, Saab, I think, you have those after harvest, you have those rice ka bhusa nahi hota hai, the which you cut and you keep it for either as a fodder for the cows. So those are all dumped, stacked actually very nicely into 5-7 stacks in the village. So he said, he told me, ki, Saab, they could be hiding inside this. So I was not very sure what it is. I said, theek hai, dhoond lo, carry out search. And it so happened ki one of the stakes, that fellow militant was actually standing inside. What the villagers had helped him, usko khada karke, they put the bundles on top of him. So he's standing like that and usko cover kar diya tha.
The villagers helped him.
Now, my Jawan, he was Shyam Kumar Blown, Havaldar Shyam Kumar Blown. He lifted up and this guy was standing right in front of him. A Pathan, 6 feet tall, standing like that. And this guy, and they both had the weapon, but because you were very close, you could not shoot at each other. So they got into a hand-to-hand combat. And I was, he was as far as this, like Gurjum is sitting there, no? इतने डिस्टेंस में उन दोनों का लड़ाई शुरू हो गया. And I was actually sitting and I was on my radio set to talk to the higher headquarters to tell them कि यार this escaped militant is not traceable. We are looking for him. तो ऐसी feedback दे रहा था and this happened. So I left this thing and I ran towards these two people who were kind of wrestling each other. And finally we got him. We shot him. And this happened at around 5:30 in the morning. And 5:30 there in J&K is still a little dark. After that, we talked about the second militant who had run inside. And हम लोग गए, I went inside. तो they told me कि साहब ये घर में फायर आया था, तो हमने ये घर को घेर लिया है. तो I assumed कि he must be inside. So this Havaldar of mine who had just actually killed this militant in the hand-to-hand combat. So he was already, feeling very, I'll say, because I had told him, कि शाम को when you get back, you'll get your promotion.
Okay.
Because he had already cleared the promotion exam, but I said we could expedite his promotion because he had done a very good job. And वो जोश में आ गया. And before I could, tell him anything, he ran towards one corner of the house कि वहाँ में मैं ये करता हूँ, cover करता हूँ करके. And it so happened कि this militant who was supposed to have been inside the house had jumped out of the house, which was then not known, and was hiding in the cow shed.
Yeah.
And this guy, my Havaldar, went into that cow shed along with another Jawan, whom he wanted to place there to guard this entrance. कि वहाँ से भाग नहीं पाए. Little knowing that the militant is already inside here. And he was hiding behind what, again, ये सरसों का साग होता है ना, उसका again bundle बना के रखा हुआ था inside the cow shed. And this militant was hiding behind the सरसों का साग का bundle. So this time what happened was when this Havaldar picked up the bundle, this guy is already sitting like that. And he opened the burst of fire onto this Havaldar, who got the entire thing on his left side of the abdomen. His entire left thigh got shattered and he fell down naturally. He could not react. But by then we heard the firefight and firefight shuru ho gaya, to he could not, the militant could not kill him. He crawled out of the shed. He was outside. We later on, it took us 15-20 minutes to retrieve him from there, physically to lift him up, And later, I'll not get into how we lifted him out. The point is he lost so much of blood that while the ambulance came and we put him on the ambulance, he literally died in my arms because I was giving him water, and talking to him. And he himself was saying, ki, Saab, I don't think I'll make it. He must have felt it because, otherwise you're very strong. He was a national skier. He was a mountaineer and a very fit guy. But you talked about casualty in war. This is one incident where it haunted me for a long, long time because he died in my arms. Literally died, because by the time I put him in ambulance, he was half dead, and 2 minutes I got the report that he's no more on the way to the hospital. So this kind of incidents, they play on your mind, and this kind of situations, they haunt you, because he had a family, he had a son. Yes, his son, who then was 16 years old, when he became 18, we also got him recruited as a Jawan in the same unit.
Okay.
This was basically to help him out, and I think he himself has done very well. The son has done very well. He's become a JCO now, Subedar in the unit. So this I thought I'll share with you, since you talked about your experience, incidents in operations.
Yeah. So sir, I have I have went through your bio and I've read many missions you've been to and so many achievements you had. It was like maybe I was reading a story or going through a part of a movie. So we'll go through this again, but before that, we'll just take a small break.
Okay.
We'll take a small Nigla coffee break.
All right.
And so let's look at the screen.
Yeah, that'll be very nice. And I talked about this nuclear warfare, but Pakistan बोलता रहता है कि हम मिसाइल मार देंगे, ये कर देंगे. I said it is not so easy for them to do it, because we can destroy their entire missile system in one go if we want to. We can also finish off the entire Pakistan, because we have so much missile available with us, all targeted.
I don't know sir, I think you might have not seen this, but there is some meme going around saying, I think now Pakistan knows where India's GST is going. And they're showing the videos of the Sindoor, Mission Sindoor. They're showing the videos of the and they're like, this is where the GST is going.
Like ऐसा है, Pakistan has failed very badly, miserably so far, because whatever missile they have fired at us, they've all got neutralized in the air.
Yeah.
Whatever drones they have sent across, they've all been neutralized, because we have a very good anti-missile, anti-aircraft system. S-400, that anti-aircraft, anti-missile system that we acquired from Russia, that is so powerful. सबको ये कर दिया, negate कर दिया है. But our own missile system is so capable, which we are not using. If we use it, Pakistan will be finished in half an hour. उसका area को भी देखो ना, it is like this. And we have so much of missile power, nuclear power, कि उसको मारे खत्म हो जाएगा ऐसे, नामो निशान मिट जाएगा उनका. That will never do. But the point is that they keep threatening कि हमारे पास में missile है, हम मारेंगे. हम उनको मारने नहीं देंगे तो कैसे मारेंगे?
And then मोदी ने कहा कि तो हमारे पास क्या है, दिवाली के लिए रखा है.
नहीं, that's why I said, we have BrahMos, we have Prithvi, we have Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, Agni 5. The series of Agni 5 is the latest because this has got the maximum, it is intercontinental, it can take care of China also. And that is why China will also not take panga with us, because they know that we can also strike back.
Yeah.
So these are weapons which are required for defense. Mind game hai.
Yeah.
You have, so people respect you. Jiski lathi, uski bhais.
Yeah. Sir, I also want to know about this. You were also a part of the unfortunate event that took place in Nepal earthquake wala.
Yeah.
Can you share us more about the experience, how it went through, how you conducted those stuff?
Yeah. If you recollect, this happened in 2015. The exact date is 25th April 2015. It was a Saturday, that also I remember, because I was posted in the army headquarters in Delhi, and Saturdays are holidays, Saturday, Sunday, non-working days. So I had planned to play golf that day, and I was about to go when this earthquake happened, and it was felt in Delhi also. I was on the 4th floor, so I also ran down with my family. I picked up my son, I carried him down. We spent half an hour outside till that shaking stopped, and then I went to play my golf. Evening when I got back, I was told that number of people are trying to reach you. Why didn't you, your mobile was switched off? I said switched off nahi tha, it was on silent mode. I was playing golf, so I never bothered to look at it. But so many missed calls were there. So I immediately called back some of the important numbers. They said ki the army chief has wanted you to go to Nepal. So we're looking for you. So I said, okay, I've just got back, give me 2 hours, I'll mobilize. And next morning at 6 o'clock, I took off for Nepal. 9 o'clock, I was there in Kathmandu. We went by that IL-76, huge, massive aircraft that you have, which can carry number of tanks and vehicles and manpower, 300-400 people can sit inside. So I went there, and so this happened on 25th April, around 11 o'clock. 26th April, 9 o'clock, I was there at Kathmandu airfield. We landed there, and even there, aftershocks were happening. Literally, the entire tarmac was, moving like small waves. There's so much of aftershock, and that was the Richter scale of I think 7.8 or something like that. It's very huge.
So we had seen whatever happened in Nepal. We had seen it through the screen. So we don't actually know how bad it was. But you had seen it.
Yeah.
How bad was it?
See, overall they lost about 9,000 plus men. People died. Kathmandu, I think 1/4 of Kathmandu got damaged because all the brick buildings, they all collapsed. And the epicenter of the earthquake is the place called Barpak. I reached on 26th morning. 26th afternoon, I take a chopper. I went there. I did my assessment of what is the requirement. The whole village had flattened. But there are a lot of survivors because 11 in the morning, people are out in the fields, fortunately. So all those oldies were there in the house. Some of them lost their lives, unfortunately, or किसी का हाथ टूट गया, पैर टूट गया. So there are a lot of casualties, and in the surrounding villages also. So whereas we had planned to go there for about 2 weeks, I ended up staying there for 40 days. A place called Pokhara.
40 days.
40 days. Pokhara.
Yeah.
So Kathmandu and Pokhara were 2 bases. I was heading the team at Pokhara. I had about 8-10 aircrafts, helicopters, those me and ALH, Advanced Landing Helicopters. It's very effective helicopters. And we saved a lot of people who were stranded in the mountains. Tourists who had gone for trekking and all, they were stuck. They were airlifted by us. Villages, people had suffered, heart fractures, So the number of operations that we undertook to rescue people from various places, mountains, hills, villages, and later, of course, started giving them, supplying them rations wherever required. So these 40 days of work, it was day in and day out, non-stop. And fortunately, I think the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force combined, we did such a good job, because the entire Nepal earthquake affected area was divided into 4 parts. One was being looked after by US. The second part was being looked after by China. The third part was being looked after by the other SAARC countries like Australia and all, no? New Zealand, they all got combined, looked after. And the most affected part was being looked after by the Indian Army. And we had the largest contingent, where the first responder, we're the first one to reach there. We're there the next day.
I think even for the recent country, India was the first responder.
Yeah. India that way has always shown a lot of cooperation and initiative in looking at, in helping others, and it's happened there also. The army chief of the Nepal army, he conveyed his gratitude when we were leaving. He organized a party for us. And also said, so it was that we earned a lot of goodwill from the people of Nepal. I personally had a lot of invites at Pokhara. So I always told them, I'll take a rain check because someday I'll come back and you have to take care of me. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to go back. But those sites of people buried in rubbles, and there's very again, those memories, very unpleasant, but they always remain with you. Also importantly, the kind of work that our chopper pilots, helicopter pilots did, amazing. They used to take such risks to save people, to rescue people. And flying skills, you could see, you had, I remember I'd gone to a village. So I just told them, can you land on that paddy field? Now this mountain slope like that, they have this terrace cultivation now. Very small little, it's all big as this. And it's on hillside. He said, हाँ sir. I said, land karo. He landed me there. And it was very simple. There's a co-pilot, he's sitting there, co-pilot is looking the other side. He'll say left, right, left, right, okay, done, land. That's it. Engine is chalu. Stop nahi hua hai. They have come and plonk themselves on top of a small hut in the village, because that was the only flat area visible. And not putting the full weight of the helicopter, just hovering and landing there so that people could climb in. So that is the kind of flying they did. Very dangerous, but hats off to their, I'll say, professionalism and the commitment. So the Nepal people were very, very grateful. I personally had so much of interaction with the local populace there, and a lot of ex-servicemen, people who have served in the Indian Army, who have retired, who are still serving. So interacting with them also was very good. I think this little, calamity will remain a part of my memory. So if ever I write my book, an autobiography, this will also be part of my, one chapter will be dedicated to this Nepal
I
earthquake.
think if you ever write an autobiography, I'll be the first one to buy it. Because
Thank you.
I have read all of about your achievements and and I haven't I'm not satisfied yet because I feel like it's only written half. So right now discussing with you, I feel like now I'm getting the full gist of it. So it's really
so
interesting.
this was about Nepal. So yes, there's so much to actually talk about. So I have started writing autobiography, not in a real sense. It's not a it's like anecdotes in bits and parts. So now I've started compiling them. Initially I started publishing it in the newspaper here, Eastern Sentinel, my brother's newspaper. But I stopped after some time when I joined the Public Service Commission. I have to restart. Let's see when I start. But I do have intention of writing a book on my life in uniform.
And I'll be the first one to get it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, so you have retired as an army officer, and last year you are currently the Chief Information Commissioner. So can you tell us more about CIC? What is it? What it's the work they do?
See, Chief Information Commissioner heads the Information Commission of the state. RTI Act of 2005, Right to Information Act of 2005, it got implemented in Arunachal in 2006. And the basic job of the Information Commission is to facilitate flow of information from the public authorities to the information seekers. So in Arunachal, RTI awareness is there, not fully, but it is there. So there are a lot of cases of people who have been seeking information from the government, from various offices, and these informations had not been forthcoming, have been forthcoming but not fully, and issues are there. So the Information Commission's job is to try and facilitate flow of information from the government offices to the information seekers. And many of these information seekers have started calling themselves RTI activists. So while it is important to maintain a balance, to ensure there is more transparency and accountability in the system, to have information seekers is good. But if these information seekers start to indulge in other activities like bullying or by extorting or blackmailing, then it is not desirable. So even seeking information has to be monitored. So it's not only about ensuring flow of information, it is also ensuring that the right kind of information is being sought and in the right manner. So it is like trying to maintain a balance between information seekers and the public authorities, which people are calling PIOs and APIOs, public information officers, who are nominated officers from the officers to deal with RTI. So these cases are on the rise. The number of dependency is increasing, and so we are also trying to work out a system as to how do you ensure flow of information, facilitate flow. of information. How do you then also ensure that the information seekers are seeking the right information? So one thing that I realized is that there is a lot of lack of awareness about the RTI. And so we have been conducting RTI awareness workshops in various districts. So far we have been able to conduct in about 10 districts. On Tuesday again I am going to Anani and Roing. We'll conduct awareness there also, with the hope that people will understand what is RTI Act all about and how do you optimally utilize this provision and not misuse it. Similarly, how do you ensure that the officers understand what it is all about and that they cannot wish it away. It is there and there to stay, and they have to respond. But we also have to tell them how to respond, negatively or positively, but it has to be in a correct manner. You can't ये नहीं है, दादागिरी नहीं कर सकता है. And dadagiri both ways cannot happen. So that we have to ensure as an information commission.
Yes, that's interesting, sir. So, sir, right now your job is like you work as a CIC. So how was the shift for you from an army veteran, from an army officer to CIC?
It's absolutely different because I am supposed to be holding courts. All these information seekers, when they file an appeal, I give a date for a hearing where I call the concerned PIO. The concerned PIO, whichever department, they are nominated PIOs or his APIO. They have to come to the court on the date of hearing. The appellant, the one who applied for the information, he is there. So you listen to both of them and try to, find a way out to ensure that he gets the information. But what has happened is, in the past, probably our documentation system wasn't very good. So there are issues about availability of information. Now when the information is not available, you can't create information. It is that kind of a thing. So you'll have to then make the information seeker understand कि देखो इस समय में वो नहीं था. So you have to tell them. So therefore, when you seek information, you also have to ensure that it is something which is feasible, because they cannot create information. So it is interesting. Whereas army life was something different, very disciplined life. We had a hierarchy where now you can see how we are reacting to all these, Op Sindoor वगैरह कैसे हो रहा है. You can see it. Because we are a disciplined organization, things move. You have plans, you have timelines. So there's a little difference.
But I think overall, everything you do has been like really interesting. Like I've heard the story, आपका childhood का studies journey से लेके till now, I feel it's very interesting. Everything is interesting.
No, life has been very interesting, and I'm grateful to God, the Almighty, that that He gave me the life that I had. There have been ups and there have been downs. I mean, there have been more ups than downs, so I'm grateful for that also. Downs, like I told you about, sitting in the mountain all alone for so many months. There were downs. One felt very dejected and depressed at times, because you felt कि यार मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ पहाड़ में बैठ के.
I've known people who have quit being in army.
Yeah, there are people have quit, and there are moments in time where I also thought कि मैं भी छोड़ देता हूँ, because how much of reading can you do? And fortunately, because I was fond of reading, I could pass my time. I did a lot of reading in the hills when I was in the mountains. I did a lot of writing. Those days as a youngster, I used to write poems, poetry, and I used to do sketching. So you could pass time like that, play carrom with troops.
So sir, when we talk about an army officer, we imagine them to be, strict, disciplined. So were you like this even while you were young, or do you have a side that we don't know about?
See, we are all human beings. We have our own, weaknesses, strong points. What is good about a disciplined life is that because you have a routine to follow, you have an order to obey, because you have to, and you have been kind of, it is something like brainwashing you into believing in what you are doing. So you start at the age of 12, 13, and you continue like 47 years of uniform, you can imagine for me, that is why when I retired, first 3 months I found it very difficult because I had a routine life. And suddenly out of the uniform I said, morning I'd wake up and start shaving and all. My wife said, "Kya kyun kar raha hai?" Out of sheer habit, without realizing कि मेरे को कुछ करना तो है ही नहीं.
So even my bada papa, he was in like army.
Okay.
So he had this habit of eating only roti, sukha roti, and वो certain dekchi में बनता है वो rice. So he follows that, and morning का time होता है. Exact वही time पे उठना है. Exact वही time पे walk पे जाना है. So he still follows the routine, and he's like it's hard to.
This discipline becomes a second habit. Yes. So even today, even as a civilian now, I have a very routine life. I do my morning walk, I do my evening exercise. Okay, and in fact, when I became CIC, first thing I asked them was, "What is your office timing?" So officially, I know it is 9 to 5. So they said कि probably I shouldn't be talking about it here, but they said कि sir वो 10 बजे करने से ठीक है. But to be practical, I mean, I didn't want a situation where I come to the office and I find the office locked. So one has to be practical about it. And when I get an invite, generally I ask, "You sure about the time?" Okay? Because I will come before time. And especially when you're invited as a chief guest, I call up before I move saying, "Shall I start or you want me to hold on for some time?" Because then they'll say कि नहीं sir आप half an hour बाद में आना और 1 घंटे बाद में आना. So you have learned that in after retirement. Otherwise फौज में तो if it is 9:30, 9:28 you are there, 2 minutes before. So that kind of habit one has now started adapting to the present circumstances. ठीक है, I mean I'm enjoying life, I am enjoying my work. I am enjoying exploring Arunachal. This is one thing I missed all my life because having spent most of my life outside Arunachal, I still do 47 years, is not a short period. I enjoy the Mopin, I enjoy all these festivals. I started going on tours while I conduct this workshop. This also gives me the opportunity to visit places. So I am very happy and I feel I am very grateful to our Honorable Chief Minister and his government that they gave me this opportunity to serve the state once again. And I feel that, getting to the districts, meeting people, interacting with them, it gives me so much pleasure, so much happiness, because I think that I'm, giving back to my state in the manner possible, some manner possible. So I'm enjoying my post-retirement life.
So sir, earlier you have mentioned that you used to write poems.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other hobbies, things that you like?
See, I was basically a very keen sports person. So I have always been into sports. I have played soccer. During my younger days, 83, 84, I was part of the services. That means our Armed Forces football team as a young officer. Then sports like, I played almost all the sports, tennis, squash, badminton. I'm not good at badminton because we hardly play badminton in the army. But golf was something I picked up late in life. And unfortunately, Arunachal doesn't have a golf course. So I have been missing this golf of mine. My golf set is lying unused. I'm hoping for a day where I can play golf in Arunachal.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
And but I think armies, they are really good in sports because I'm from Tawang, and Tawang is like a border area. So we have many armies there, and the schools, they conduct maybe football matches with the army sometimes. We have marathons, and they are always placed like last during the marathon because they are very good at running. And football, maybe they'll get some penalty or something because they're really good at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Army life is very interesting. Like I said, we are never quiet. We are always up to something.
Yeah, the army, they always have energy. I feel like they always.
I'll tell you on the lighter side. What happens is, you can imagine Jawans, they are aged from 18 to 35, prime of the youth. Now you have thousands and 20,000 of them together in one place. If you don't keep them busy, they will keep you busy. So as you know, we joke about it. So we have to keep. I remember in Babina, there's a place called Babina near Jhansi. We had a Sardar Paltan, Punjabi Paltan, you know. So I used to go through their Paltan. We used to go to my office. So I used to always see them making a stone wall. Jawan log khade hoke stone wall bana raha hai. So they made the wall. One fine day again, I found them breaking that wall and shifting that wall to the other side. They're making wall. Again, on third occasion, they removed that again, made another wall. So I asked the commanding officer, sir, what is this happening? Bolta, no, I'm keeping them busy. I don't want the wall, I'm just keeping them busy. So there's the kind of thing, because unless you keep them busy, these young people together, they can become hooligans. You can yourself correlate what happens in college. 20 of you get together, you can create chaos. You're talking about thousands here.
Okay, so sir, lastly, you have recently been to an event on January, Yuva 4.0 or something. Can you share us more about it? Maybe you can give the youth a message.
You see, again, I was very lucky that I was invited for this Yuva. What is that?
Yuva.
Yeah, it was a youth festival, and this was the first time I saw all the tribes of Arunachal dressed up in their native, attire and doing the march past. And it was so heartwarming. So I felt so proud, and I actually had goosebumps, watching them, such young people, and they're looking so beautiful. So that was when I realized कि देखो Arunachal में there's so much of I'll say diversity in terms of tribes and culture. You dress as you so, but at the same time we have a very strong bonding, I think, because that is why Arunachal today is one of the most fast developing states in the country. So, and having gone to so many districts today, I realize that the kind of national feeling that we have, the sense of patriotism, is very strong, and we should be proud of this. Hindi being the common language, naturally, I think this also binds us together. And I think when I talk of the youth, there are two ways of looking at it. One, because of this, the IT, information technology, which has developed so much. Today, that has also got a bad side to it. Our youngsters have got addicted to mobiles, to tablets, to games on the tablet. Instead of playing in the fields, they are playing on the mobile.
And there's a saying that today's generation, they sleep today and they wake up today.
Exactly. They keep awake the whole night, then they sleep during the day, they are not visible to you, they find it difficult to go to school in time. And so that part is bad. But at the same time, I find that the awareness, like I was in the Service Public Commission, I took interview of so many people, I realized that the awareness has increased. There is, people are more confident. I'll say, they are not only confident, some of them I found them to be very articulate. Very articulate. And so one felt very impressed by the kind of youth who were appearing for this exams. And even when you interact with the youth in the schools, they are so confident, and they are so inquisitive, so curious about so many things. So I guess if given the right direction, our youth will do very well. You look at the kind of achievements we are doing in sports, and I'm sure with awareness increasing, with more facilities coming up, it is only going to get better. And the kind of DNA that we have, I think sports is one of our fortes. Okay? So we must explore this as a, आप लोग का भी जैसे, if you have a younger brother, or if you're next generation, you have some youth who are eager to become a, let's say, a mountaineer, who are eager to become a cyclist. We should keep encouraging and not only talk about books. So I think if shown the right direction, our youth can achieve a lot.
So sir, lastly, can you maybe give a message to the youth, to the audience?
Well, firstly, I have always believed in the motto, never say die, never give up. I think there is nothing impossible. Probably impossible will take a little more time. That is what I believe in. Secondly, I think there is no shortcut to hard work. We talk about destiny. There is amount of destiny involved in your life. I talked about destiny when I joined RIMC. But I think hard work is what is the key to your success. Number 2. And number 3, like I talked about the youth, I'll say that keep away from drugs. Because once you become an addict, then you are no more yourself, and it's very difficult to get de-addicted and very difficult to have a normal life. So with you are then going to spoil the happiness of all around you, people who love you, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your friends. So therefore, don't try to explore. कि वह try करके देख लेते हैं. This is where you go wrong. So I'll urge all the youth to desist from trying out something bad. Try out something good. Try out something positive. Okay? And keep healthy. Look after your health. As you grow older, look after more. Because health is wealth. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I think it was an honor for me to host you. I'm very glad. I'm thankful to Gijim sir actually to letting me host you, and it was an honor to know so much about you and the achievements you've had.
Thank you so much once again. Such a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me on your show. And I have been following some of your interviews, and they're very interesting. And one gets to hear so much about the others. That is when you also get motivated, when you hear stories of the other people also, other friends. And hopefully part of my story, I'm sure, I do hope, can motivate some of the youth today.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So with this, the episode of TYSON Talk Show ends here today, and I'll see you again next Saturday, 8 a.m.